Hey everybody, Chris here from All for His Glory Crafts by Chris. Today we're going to talk about, you guessed it, yarn. Now if you're a knitter or a crocheter like me, I'm sure you have a drawer or something that looks like this, where we use those skeins of yarn and when we get down to the ends, they end up to be a tangled mess in our drawer. Or we have the ever popular balls of yarn that when you go to use, they roll everywhere. Today I'm going to show you how to take this and turn it into this. All you need to make these beautiful center pull skeins of yarn is something round and smooth in your yarn. Suggestions would be a knitting needle. This is a covered piece of dowel rag. A pencil will work, toilet paper roll or a paper towel tube. As long as it's round and it's smooth, that's the only thing you need. Optional items are going to be tape and scissors and some sort of way to make a label. This here I'm using old adding machine tape, which is how I made these labels here. But you could also just use the label off the packaging. So grab your supplies and come on along and we'll learn how to do these together. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is I like to take a piece of tape here and fold over one end a little bit, just so I have a little tab so I can unwind the tape, and place it about 3/4 of the way down on my rod, whatever I'm using. And I just use this to hold the tail in place. You don't have to do that. It's just something I like to do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our yarn and we're going to leave 10 inches, 8 inches, whatever, tail on it. And we're going to make a slip knot. And we're going to place this pretty close to the end of our rod, whatever we're working on. And then I'm going to take the tail and that piece of tape that I put on there, just going to tape down that tail just to keep it out of my way while I'm wrapping. Now, I don't know if you can see over here in the corner, what I've done is I've taken my yarn and unwound it from the skein because it was just a knotted up mess, and I find it easier just to have it laying in a pile off to the side to make it easier to wrap. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our yarn and we're going to start wrapping. And we're going to start wrapping not this way, but at an angle. So we're going to go from bottom, right hand side, to top, left hand side at an angle. Now as we do that, we're going to slightly turn the rod, about a 1/4 turn, and we're just going to continue wrapping down, up, and turning as we go. Now as you can see, we're starting to form, hopefully it's showing up in here, you can see the crisscross pattern in that, hopefully. And we're just going to continue to wrap. And I like to wrap until this is about 2 inches or so in height, and it'll look egg-shaped and funny, but it'll all work out in the end. So we're just going to continue wrapping around until we get it where we want it. And we want to remember to wrap close to the stick when we first start. Now once we get it about where we want it in length, which I'm getting pretty close to that right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start wrapping ever so slightly away from the stick on both sides. And I'm going to continue wrapping. And what this is going to do is, you'll notice once you get around several times, is you'll notice that the top and bottom are going to start flattening out, and this is what's going to give you the cake shape, where the ball will sit flat instead of rolling around. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you can see that it's starting to flatten out here and along here. And we're just going to keep wrapping along the edges until we get towards the end of the yarn. And then I'll show you how I finish this off. So I'll probably fast forward through here while I'm doing this. Here, and I don't know, I got maybe a couple feet left on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place my thumb in the center of the ball and hold this yarn strand down, and then I'm just going to wrap sideways around the ball, making sure I catch that where I first started wrapping. Then I'm going to take, once I get to the end, take my tail and I'll tuck it in underneath those strands. And I usually go in twice and wrap it around. And here we have our ball of yarn. Now what I like to do, and you can do this one of several ways. Most of your yarn labels have patterns on the back, and a lot of people like to hang on to those patterns. So if you don't want to use the label, what I use is just some old adding machine tape, or you could use just strips of paper, whatever. Or if you don't want the pattern on the back of the label, you can fold the label in half and use it that way, or you can cut down the center, cut it in half, and use that as a strip. But I just take, oops, sorry about that, my paper, and I can write whatever I want on here. I usually just write the name of the yarn on here, but I can write the brand and the lot number or whatever. Excuse me. But I wrap my paper around there, cut it off so that it overlaps. And then I write on here whatever I want. Which, like I said, is I usually just write the name of the yarn on it. And now I want this This is where the center pole yarn comes out of the top here. I want to make sure that my label is on. So that's the top of the ball. Take a piece of tape, secure it in place, and then I pull up my tape here. Alright, maybe. Take off my yarn tail and pull out whatever I'm using to wrap my yarn on. I have a couple strands here that have, I just don't like the way they're setting, so I'll just pull those down to the side so they set a little bit better. Now you can pull this out and remove the slip knot that we started with. If you want, you don't have to. I just usually leave it in there, and then take all this excess yarn that we started with, our tail, and tuck it in to the top, so that I just have a little piece sticking up. And as you can see, we have a beautiful center pole skein of yarn that will sit flat on your surface wherever you're working, instead of rolling around like those balls that we all know are so much fun to work with. I hope this helps you out. If you like, you can leave a comment below. Subscribe, like the video, share it, and blessings.